We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello friends, today we are going to discuss the probability sampling method from the chapter number 11, which is sampling design and procedure. Yesterday we have already discussed some concept of the sampling, and we have also discussed the non-probability sampling techniques. Today we are going to discuss the different method of the probability sampling techniques. If we talk about the probability sampling technique, then all the element of population have a equal chance of selection. This is known as a probability sampling techniques. Example that we have already discussed, let's say for example, if we talk about the lottery, so in this case whosoever has applied for the lottery, all the participant have equal chance of this chance of the lottery, then it is known as a probability sampling techniques. Here if we talk about, let's say for example, if researcher want to select the 100 students out of the 500 students, so in this case based upon the students attendance sheet randomly, if researcher will select the 100 students out of 500, then it is known as a probability sampling technique. Again, let's say for example, out of 52 cards, so 52 is a population, we want to select 3 cards, so randomly all the 52 card have equal chance of the selection, then it is known as a probability sampling technique. If moving further, we are going to discuss about in this session different method of a probability sampling. So basically these are the different method of the probability sampling: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and other sampling technique. First we are going to discuss about the simple random sampling. If we talk about the simple random sampling, so in this case from the population we are going to select our sample on a random basis. This is known as a random sampling. Let's say for example, if we talk about we are having 52 cards, we want to select the 3 cards. So how we are going to select these 3 cards? Randomly we are going to pick any 3 cards. So this is example of a simple random sampling. Same example, let's say for example, company is having a 500 employee. Out of that, company want to take the opinion of the 50 employees, and company want to select the 50 employees. So company is having already the database of the all the employee, and out of this database randomly company will select any 50 employee and will take the opinion of the employee, then it is known as a simple random sampling. For example, another example of the simple random sampling is a lottery system. Let's say for example, 1,000 people has applied for the lottery, and out of that randomly we will select 1 or 2 and we will give them the lottery, then it is again the example of a simple random sampling. So if we talk about the simple random sampling, each element in the population has a known and equal probability of the selection. It is a method of the probability sampling, so each element should be known and have a equal chance of the selection. If we talk about the systematic sampling again, that we can say that name itself explain the meaning of the systematic sampling. In a systematic sampling we are going to follow some system, and based upon that we are going to select our samples. If we talk about a systematic sample, first we need to decide the interval. If we talk about how we can able to decide the interval, the first two elements should be known. First, which is of the population size, and second one is the sample size. Let's say for example, if researcher want to select 100 students out of 1,000 students, then capital N population is 1,000, and small n, because the researcher want to select the 100 students, so small n will be the 100 and the capital N is 1,000. So if I want to calculate the interval, then I is equal to 1,000 divided by 100, means capital N divided by small n. So here you will get the interval, right? So basically, if again we take the same example, let's say for example class strength is 100, and out of that researcher want to select select the 10 students. So in this case, your capital N is 100, your small n is 10, so your interval is 10. Right. So first step in a systematic sampling is we need to decide the interval. After that, from 1 to 10, randomly researcher will select any number. Let's say for example, researcher has select the 5 number. So after 10 interval means 5 plus 10 is equal to 15, 15 plus 10 is equal to 25, 25 plus 10 is equal to 35. So whose enrollment number is 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, they will select them as a sample. So this is an example of a systematic sampling where researcher will follow the some system for selection of a sample. First they need to decide the interval. If we talk about the formula for the interval is capital N divided by the small n, where the capital N is equal to population size, small n is equal to sample size. Here again the one example which is mentioned for the systematic sampling. Let's say for example there are 1 lakh element in the population, means if we talk about the capital N is equal to 1 lakh and the sample and a sample is 1000 is desired, so here the small n is equal to 1000. So we need to calculate the interval which is of the 1 lakh divided by 1000. So in this case you will get the interval is equal to 100. So researcher need to select random number between 1 to 100, any random number which is selected between 1 to 100. For this example researcher has selected the 23. So after that every 100 and interval the researcher will select the sample. So 23 plus 100 is 123, 123 plus 100 is a 223. So whose number is 23, 123, 223, so on. Researcher will select them as a sample. So this is example of a systematic sampling. If we will move further, next is a stratified sampling. If we talk about stratified sampling basically it is a two-step process in which the population is divided into subpopulation or the strata. Again it is the same like the quota sampling, where the population which is divided into the different strata based upon some characteristics. If we talk about the stratified sampling, in this element within a stratum means within a one group element should be homogeneous, and between group the element should be heterogeneous. Homogeneous means they are similar and heterogeneous means they are having the different characteristics. So basically if we take the same example, let's say for example university is having a different courses. For example they are having MBA course, they are having MCA course, they are having pharmacy course, they are having engineering course. So we are going to still divide the university students into four strata. One which is a group of students who has opted for MBA. Second strata is group of students who has opted for MCA, group of students from the engineering, and group of students from the pharmacy. Because if we talk about MBA they are within group they are homogeneous, but between group means if we talk about MBA group and if we talk about engineering group then they are heterogeneous. So basically basic characteristics of stratified sampling: between group, within group it should be homogeneous, between group it should be heterogeneous. If we talk about the group of MBA and group of MCA, they are heterogeneous, but when we talk about the within MCA group they are homogeneous. After that what we are going to do, we are going to select the few elements from each and every group. For example, researcher want to select 100 students from the university, and if the researcher will follow the stratified sampling, then first step is university student is divided into different stratas according to the discipline. One is group of MBA, second is group of engineering, third is group of MCA, fourth one is group of pharmacy. Out of each and every group the few student has been selected, maybe from MBA 20, maybe from MCA 10, engineering 30, and the rest of the student which is selected from the a pharmacy, then it is an example of a stratified sampling. But here the important thing is how we are going to select the element from the MBA group. Then basically randomly we are going to select the students from the different strata. This is a basic difference between quota sampling and the stratified sampling. If we talk about the stratified sampling, so in a stratified sampling on a random basis we are going to select the samples. If we talk about the quota sampling, based upon the researcher convenience, they are going to select the samples from the different quota. So this is a basic difference between the quota sampling and the stratified sampling. Again, the one another example of the stratified sampling is a proportionate stratified sampling. If we talk about the proportionate stratified sampling, based upon the population proportion, the sample has been selected. Again, let's say for example, in a one class, 100 students are there. So 100 is a population. Out of that, I have divided 100 into different strata. One strata is a group of male, second strata is a group of female. So, and researcher want to select 10 students from 100 students. So basically, if we talk about in 100 students, 60 students are male and the 40 students are female. This is a proportion in a class कि out of 100 60 are male and 40 are female. So if researcher want to select the 10 student based upon the population proportion, they will select the sample. Means here 60% are a male. So out of 10, 60% they will select a male. Means 6 students that they have selected from the male strata, and the 40% are a female. Out of 100, the 40% are the female. So out of 10, researcher will select the 4 students from the female strata. So this is example of a proportionate stratified sampling. If we talk about the proportionate stratified sampling, based upon the population proportion, the sample has been selected. This is known as a stratified sampling. If we will move further towards the cluster sampling, again in cluster sampling the group is divided into a different cluster. But here, if we talk about the characteristics of the cluster sampling, then between group sample should be heterogeneous, and with sorry between group sample should be heterogeneous, and within group they should be homogeneous. If we talk about, let's say for example, in your area we can take example of two societies, society A and society B. If we talk about the society A, then basically in society A the different demographic people are staying. Let's say for example, if we talk about the youngsters are there, the old age peoples are there, different income group people are also staying. People, let's say for example, Gujaratis are also there, Punjabis are also staying, people from the different regions are also staying. So basically if we talk about the society A, where the different demographic people are residing in a society A. So basically, if we talk about the society A, group is a heterogeneous because the different demographic people are residing or staying in society A. If we talk about the society B, so in this case, again the same. Let's say for example, different demographic people are residing in a society B. Maybe the higher income group, maybe the lower income group, maybe the middle income group, maybe the occupation of the people are different, the culture of people are different. So if we talk about the within group means group of society A, then in this case the people are heterogeneous. But when we talk about the between group in society A and society B, in this case people are homogeneous, so the group are homogeneous. So here if we talk about the cluster sampling, the property of cluster sampling, within group people should be heterogeneous, between group it should be homogeneous. So here group of society A and society B, more or less it is a homogeneous, more or less it is a similar. Let's say for example researcher want to select the 50 respondent from this particular society. So basically if we are following the cluster sampling, then researcher will select either from society A, either from society B, all the respondent, because the society A and society B, more or less it is a homogeneous, more or less it is the same. So it doesn't make any difference whether the researcher will select the respondent from society A or whether he will select the respondent from the society B. So this is a method of a cluster sampling. Again I am repeating it. In cluster sampling, within group respondent should be heterogeneous, between group it should be homogeneous. In cluster sampling, first the population is divided into different clusters. More or less all the groups or all the clusters are homogeneous in a nature. Researcher will select all the sample from one cluster. In example that we have seen, researcher has selected 50 respondent from society A or society B. It doesn't make any difference because the society A and society B is a homogeneous. So this is a method of a cluster sampling. Thank you.